After a confrontation with an unstable man at an intersection, a woman becomes the target of his rage. This film is directed by Derek Borte and written by Carl Ellsworth. This film does star Russell Crowe, Karen Pistorius as Rachel, Gabriel Bateman as Kyle, and Jimmy Simpson as Andy. What's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review, this time for Unhinged. Now, I did catch this on VOD in the comfort of my own home, and I'll let you guys know at the end of this review if it's worth spending some money on and watching it in the comfort of your own home. Now, this did come out in select theaters, but unfortunately, around the time that it did come out, my theaters were still on lockdown, and when they did reopen recently, it wasn't there anymore. So I think that's kind of the current situation that most of us are in right now. We're not able to check out some of these movies that are hitting theaters, so VOD is kind of an alternative option for most of us. Now, before I get into the pros and the cons for Unhinged, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up as well as that subscribe and bell notification. Share this video if you guys can, and click on all of those links down below to support the channel. All right, now this film did officially hit theaters August 21st, 2020. It's rated R, and it has a runtime of 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now, let's talk pros right out the gate, guys. If you are into these road rage, confrontational, brutal movies, you will absolutely love this. And going into this, I only knew what I saw from the trailer, and I'm gonna get away from watching trailers, especially in the next coming years. I feel like trailers are just exposing so much. So I kind of was watching it for the first time and kind of forgetting what I saw in the trailer, or thinking that things were possibly going to go one way and they actually went another. So an absolute pro of mine was the actor of Russell Crowe. So someone who's not named, not given a name, he's simply called Man in the IMDb credits. He is the antagonist of the film, and holy shit, does he do a crazy job of showing someone that is having a bad day. Now, I definitely got to give Russell Crowe some kudos. I haven't been following his career. I've only seen, of course, the classics like Gladiator, but a lot has changed with him transformation-wise, I'll just say that, since then. But does his acting ability change at all? No, he's still the top tier actor that I've known over the decades and grew up with. So he is still phenomenal. And in this role, he is more brutal than ever. And he's someone that I feared from the intro of this movie. From beginning to end, I was absolutely terrified by this man. So I definitely got to give it up once again. The pro of this film being Russell Crowe, holding this menacing film together. Next was the victim of Rachel, played by Karen Pistorius. I hadn't really seen too much of her work. I know I'd seen her face before, but I just couldn't call it. But she did a great job in this movie, playing a single mother, going through someone that's extremely having a bad day herself. You know, she's going through a divorce. She just lost her job. She's late to getting her kid to school. There's a lot of turmoil going on in her life, and this road rage incident just added to it. So I think the relatability factor of this could possibly happen during gridlock, or in any situation where we're always honking our horn at people. We're kind of jumping, the gun, so to speak, and we're just getting fed up with people in this overcrowded, overpopulated world at times. So I did really enjoy rooting for her in the end, because, man, she was going up against this character, this behemoth that Russell Crowe was just relentless. And, especially in that big ass truck that he's driving against her small, well, I don't know what kind of car it was, but her small beat up ass car, he was the king of the road. All right, guys, now acting aside, another pro is the plot, the situation. It's something that's so small yet turned into something so explosive. Once again, something that some of us might experience on a day-to-day basis, road rage, right? We've all been in those situations where we've accidentally cut someone off or purposely cut someone off, and sometimes we got to deal with those repercussions, hopefully not to this extreme nature that Russell Crowe is going through. I won't explain to you what he's going through, but he is going through some shit himself, and it's not saying it's justified whatsoever, but it makes sense how all of these factors can just cause a man to just explode, so to speak. All right, guys, now jumping to some of the negatives for this film. It's usually small things that I bicker about, like the runtime, but 1 hour and 30 minutes is perfect for a movie like this. The only thing I can really say is that some situations I was yelling at my screen, do this, do that, call the police, get out of there, drive this way, drive that way, don't do this, do that. So when you're kind of yelling at the screen like this, it engages you to a certain point. You're hanging off the couch or you're hanging on the edge of your seat, which is a good thing. It could be considered a pro, but I found myself kind of being sucked out because it wasn't things that I guess I would do based off of my instinct alone, but everyone's different. I get that. So I think maybe some of the writing could have been a little tightened up to show that the woman that we were dealing with in the forefront, she wasn't as dumb-witted, I guess, as some of the writing led on to be. I thought she could have been a little smarter in certain situations, but by the end of the movie, I did fall in love with some of the decisions that she ended up making. I will just say that without alluding to anything. So that's my final thoughts, guys, on Unhinged. And if I got to give it a rating, I will give it a solid 4 out of 5, saying I definitely had fun with this movie. It is extremely brutal. You will see some things that you don't really agree with, but once again, it adds to that brutality nature of Russell Crowe, and he definitely did excite me. You know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of John Goodman's character in 10 Cloverfield Lane. More of a behemoth, a big guy that you didn't want to mess with. And he had a very, very stern look on his face, and he was about his business, and he let his presence be known. All right, guys, have you seen Unhinged? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, your ratings. And if you guys did appreciate my thoughts, please give this video a thumbs up, as well as hitting that subscribe and bell notification to join the Flix Talk family to always get notified about future content like this. Till next video, guys, I am gone. Peace.